Midbar Sinai to Har Sinai, and because it's occurred on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, so we will learn a Sicha, which if you see on the top of your page, was a Sicha that the Rebbe spoke on Rosh Chodesh Sivan to the Women's Convention, and there were many years that it came out that the Sicha that Rebbe spoke to the women before Shavuos came out on Rosh Chodesh Sivan. This one I was from Rosh Chodesh Sivan Tafshin Memvav. We'll begin from the third paragraph in the top of the page. HaTorah Torah is not just a true direction how to act in the world. It's the true existence of all matters of the world. Because the foundation and the source of the Torah is Noisin HaTorah, the giver of the Torah, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All existences from the heavens and the earth and everything in between them, meaning everything that the heavens and earth contain, only came into being from his true being. So now the Rebbe is going to bring out another very interesting thing that we find concerning Matan Torah. Therefore, the Torah is related to Matan Torah during the giving of the Torah. Tzipar loy tzavach, a bird did not tweet. Chulu shor loy ga'a, an ox did not low. Chulu ha'olam shoysik u'machrish, the world was totally silent. The Hainu, this means shekol ha'olam amad lahakshiv l'mesinas ha'Torah. The entire world stood to listen to the giving of the Torah. Very strange thing. Why is the whole world listening to the giving of the Torah? Shekain, because Avshat Torah nitnali Yisrael dafke, though the Torah was given specifically to the Jewish people, so what need is there for the entire world to be silent? Along with the fact that it's given to the Jewish people, HaTorah nitna lasis shalom ba'olam. The Torah was given to make peace in the world. It's not just peace amongst Yidden. In addition to the fact that the Torah permeates within the day-to-day life of a Jew, even during the weekdays, and in mundane matters, the Torah influences and affects also the nations of the world. Because every person, even if he's not from the Jewish people, he's obligated in the 7 Noachide commandments. Not only does it influence all the people in the world, but even more so. It influences every creation of the world, that it's permeated in the directives of the Torah. Because the Torah specifically indicates how one has to use every item of this world appropriate to and corresponding to the goal of his creation, for the honor and for the sake of Hashem. When we act according to the directives and lessons of the Torah, then we bring about true perfection and true completion. Elikus, godliness, kedusha, holiness, va'oir, and light, b'chol davar ba'olam, in every matter in this world, until the ultimate perfection in the world, that we will merit this completion of the world and perfection of the world speedily. The Rambam wrote at the conclusion of the Sefer, that the earth is filled with the knowledge of Hashem, that the entire world and everything that's in it is filled with godliness. This means to say, Not that godliness is far away, or it's closed off in the Sfarim Shafa, that without any influence on life. It's just a book on the shelf. Chas v'shalom, heaven forbid. Or the influence is only in special days like Shabbos v'Yom Tov. That's when the Torah influences the person and affects the person. V'ilu b'chol hayomim, as opposed to all the days. HaTorah nisheres gura bar na kodesh. The Torah is closed off. It's in the Aron Kodesh and Shul over there under lock and key. Va'olam esnaik, if darka in the world runs the way the world runs. So he said, the Rebbe says that's wrong. Acting in such a way is the opposite of the goal that for its sake the world was created. Lastly, is Baruch Dira Bitachon, to make for him Hashem a home down here below, like the Alter Rebbe writes. This low world, that there's nothing lower than it, Yedira la Kadosh Baruch Hu, should be a home for Hashem. Varedira mitis, and a true home, pirusha, it means shebechol prat uprat sheba, in every single detail, nikir miwa balbayas shel of shayachas. It's recognizable who is the owner of this home, who is in charge of this home, that the home belongs to him. Shekain, because kasher balbayas misnaig ben akiyas ba mitis away from meir, when the owner of the home acts in cleanliness and in truth and in a way that illuminates harikachim kol prate adira, so all of this is reflected in all the details of the home. Now the Rebbe brings us back to the fact that he's addressing this to women. And to add, shakoris habayis, the mainstays of the home, the women, einans kukis lahesbeirim mishalom bedover, they do not need explanations and metaphors and examples. Shekain kol achas yadazos mebeisa aproti shiboyi akeres habayis. Every single woman knows this from her own home, that she is the mainstay of the home. Shari mashkias atzma veskol kachesel merza. She invests herself and all of her energy and all of her alacrity and strength, kedei shabayis yimur, that the home should be illuminated. V'lo yirboy dvarim she'ein masim leben adam, and there should not be anything that's inappropriate for a human being. V'alachs kam v'kam Yehudi, and how much more so for a Jew. U'kemoi kein, and so too shekol chayfetz habayis yibim koimei haroi. Every object in the home should be in its appropriate place. Behesam l'havanosa shal hakeres habayis, appropriate to the understanding how the mainstay of the home understands how a home is supposed to look. Top of the next page, moving for this understood. Shagam hadira lo yizbarach b'tachtoinim, also the home for Hashem down here below. The way we make Hashem's home, tzarech liyis b'chol prateh, has to be in all of its details. How is that in all of its details? Through the fact that every detail in the world is according to Hashem's will, then the world is illuminated even more so. And therefore, the general service is in much greater success. Because this is connected with running the home according to the will of the owner of the home, which is Hashem. Eventually, this is the true Balabais will become revealed, and the only Balabais of the world is the King of Kings, Hashem. This is the general idea of Matan Torah. Shakadosh Baruch Hu b'Yisrael liyas mekabli HaTorah, that he chose the Yidden to receive the Torah. V'avidosam hi lahachdiras HaTorah, and their work is to have the Torah permeate l'chol prateh, and all of its details ba'olam in the world, l'hafchel liyas dir lo yizbarach, and to transform it to be a home for the Eibishter. That's why it was necessary that not a single creature in the world would interfere with the giving of the Torah, and they were all listening to the Torah, because eventually it would be revealed their true purpose in concert with Torah. The Rebbe continues the connection with women. Concerning the giving of the Torah, we find special emphasis concerning the women. Ubagdam. But first we need a preface where everybody's equal, and then where women stand out. The very giving of the Torah from Hashem to the Jewish people is by all Jewish people equally. Therefore, that despite all the different levels in the Jewish people, Hashem gave the Jewish people, all of the Jewish people, equally the Torah. Kedisa Medrash, like it's brought down in Medrash, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem said, Yered Moshe, first Moshe needs to descend, and then I will say, I am Hashem your God. Hainus means to say that Moshe Rabbeinu nistava loredes v'lamed b'yachtem kol Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded to descend and to stand along with all the Yidden, anoshim, noshim v'taf, men, women, and even young babies. They lahadgish to emphasize shenesinas haTorah hi l'chol Yisrael b'shavah, that the giving of the Torah is to all Yidden equally. Mi Moshe Rabbeinu, from Moshe Rabbeinu. Asher miyad la'achrei kein kibol Torah Sinai, that immediately he received the Torah from Sinai. What did he receive the Torah? Kol pirushi ha-Torah v'chulu, all the explanations and commentaries on the Torah. U'misara, and he transmitted it. Ad l'dareinu zeh, till eventually it reached our generation. V'chein la'achrei zeh, and so too, ad soif kol ha-doros, till the end of all generations. V'ad l'poshet shev'pshutim, even to the most ordinary Jew. Ka'amr, like we said before, kol Yisrael b'shavah, all Yidden equally. Now he goes back to what he said before. It's not just all Yidden equally, but the entire creation. V'yisedim is even more so. Shagam ha'olam kuloi, also the entirety of creation. Amad l'loyniya, stood without moving. K'dei lishmoya v'likloit v'lizboig as aser sadiblit, to be able to hear and absorb the 10 Commandments, aser sadibris, v'ad l'tach sashleim shebezem, until the ultimate perfection of it. Like the pasuk that we quoted before, that the Rambam says, "Ki mol ors deas Hashem kamayim liyom achasim," that the earth is filled with the knowledge of Hashem, like the waters covers the sea. Hainu shemetzias habriya kula nasis maleya Torah. The entire being of the Torah becomes filled with Torah. Deas havai, the knowledge of Hashem. Asha Torah mechasas kol metzias habriya, to such degree that Torah covers over the entire existence of the creation. Shaloi royim kiyim Torah. All we see is just Torah. Bedugmas me'ayam shemechasim al kol abruim datzach shebiyam, similar to the seawater that covers over all creations of the inanimate things and the vegetation and the living animals that are in the sea. Shaloi royim kiyim maim. You look at the water, all you see is water. The same thing, the Torah covers the world, and you don't even see the world, you see Torah. That is all concerning Matan Torah itself. But prior to Matan Torah, but concerning being related the news about the giving of the Torah, because it's necessary to let the Jewish people know what's going to happen in their lives. Especially since this is something primary in their lives. It's a primary thing in the life of all the Jewish people to the end of all generations. The Torah relates to us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tziva LaMoshe, Hashem commanded Moshe, Koi Soimar, like this. What's it mean like this? Keseder hazeh, in this particular order. Lebeis Yaakov, to the house of Yaakov. Who is considered the house of Yaakov? Elu Hanoshim. These are the women. They are considered the home, the mainstay of the home. Toimar lahem berosh b'losharaka. The word koi soimar means in a soft in soft words. Ve'ein tzorich b'dvarim kashim, and there's no need to use hard words and strong words. Ki bevadi iskabla dvarim arakim, because by women surely the soft words will be received. Ve'rak la'achrizeh, and only afterwards v'sagid lebnei Yisrael, you will tell the sons of Yisrael, Elu ha'anoshim, they are the men. This the men. Last two lines. Inyan said this idea. The preceding of the news of the giving of the Torah to the women before the men. Nichtav b'Torah nitzchis, was written in the everlasting Torah. Ubemela nasa chelik mitoira l'shein hara, therefore becomes a part of Torah from the meaning of the word lesson. Hayra meira, it's an illuminating lesson, like we say Torah oir. The Torah is light and illumination. V'hayra nitzchis, it's an everlasting lesson, b'chol mokim, b'chol zman, in every place and in every time, ubemyuchad, and especially b'mei achon l'matan Torah, in the days of preparation for the giving of the Torah, b'shor sha'imdim b'is shvuah, sh'bay nitna Torah mechadosh. The Rebbe is going on to the time that they were saying it within the week that the Torah was given from a new b'chayis m'chodeshes, for a new life and vitality, b'avim m'chodeshes, and a renewed love, mivil dem mesiras nefesh m'chodeshes, that brings us to renewed devotion and self-sacrifice. So he says in Dalet, Vatam lakach shem Moshe Rabbeinu. Nitztav ledaber tchila lanoshim, the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded to speak first to the women. B'dei ha'isha nimtzra shlichus kedosha. The woman was given a holy mission. Liyos hakeres habayis, to be the mainstay of the home. Ulechanech es bnei habayis haskukim lechinuch, to educate those members of the family and household that are still need to be educated. Including also those prior to them being born. Al Piritzaina, according to her will, as the pasuk says, Chachmas Nashim Bonsa Beisa, the wisdom of women built up their home. Ubiyodeha Livnois Binyan Adeyad, the woman's in the woman's controls to build an everlasting edifice, whatever an edifice is. Boys and girls that will continue the golden chain of the Jewish people. Like we simply see even by the nations of the world. To what degree the running of the home is in the hands of the wife, the woman. How much more so by the nation that merited to receive the Torah of truth, the Torah of Olam. What does Olam mean? Tarti mashma. There's two meanings to the word Olam. Olam ba'ofen nitzchi. Olam, it means in an everlasting way, that the Torah is an everlasting teaching. Also, it's called Torah's Olam because the purpose of Torah is to influence and affect the world. Lasses shalom ba'olam, to make peace in the world. Moving from this is understood. How we need to educate every Jewish daughter. Beginning already at the beginning of education, immediately when she's born. How do you begin the education? Through surrounding the baby with the psukim of Shira Mailis. Through the mezuzah that's in her room. Through calming her down with a lullaby, that the lullaby is about, singing about how wonderful the Torah is. And in similar veins, there's many similar things that you could start off right away as soon as the child is born with a Torah environment, a Torah atmosphere. Then these matters are engraved in the baby, in her, while she's small, and automatically she'll continue in this path all the days of her life. Even when she becomes old, she will not turn away from it. When Hashem will bench her with lengthy days and good years, and she'll have her own everlasting edifice. Sons and daughters involved in making a home for Hashem. We're going to skip over to Ois Vav on the next page. Fourth paragraph from the top. In Yonush Rosh Chodesh Sivan Hu, the idea of Rosh Chodesh Sivan is the pasuk that we read in today's Chumash. B'Chodesh Hashlishi, in the third month, in other words, the month of Sivan, which is the third month from Nisan. Geimer B'Yom Hazeh, and this day. What's this day referring to? Rosh Chodesh. Bo Midbar Sinai, the Jewish people came to the wilderness of Sinai, Gomer. Vayichan Sham Yisrael neged the har, and the Jewish people encamped over there, facing the mountain. Vayichan Lashon Yochid, it says that he encamped, not they encamped in the singular. Ki ish echad b'leiv echad, we derive from it that was like one person with one heart. Asher inyan zeh, this unity of the Jewish people, hevi lepoilos achlota hasoifis, brought to actuality the final decision shal Chodesh Baruch Hu los HaTorah liYisrael, to give the Torah to the Jewish people. K'de'isa medrash, like it's brought down in medrash, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem said, Hoyel v'son Yisrael samachloikis v'avus hashol v'nasuch hanoya achas, since the Jewish people hated dispute and argument and loved peace, and they became one encampment, so the time arrived that I should give my Torah. The idea behind this is, regardless of the fact that the Jewish people is combined and made up of many different people and distinct and different one from another. Just the men alone were 600,000 above the age of 20. In addition to the 600,000 men above the age of 20, there was women and babies, a great amount. Despite of all these different people with all their different opinions and so on, when they stood facing the mountain Har Sinai, Har Sinai, they are standing to receive the Torah. You will serve Hashem on this mountain. The very looking and contemplating Har Sinai. They were standing facing Har Sinai. They were thinking about Har Sinai. 6 days before the giving of the Torah, it already influences them that they should be in the way that they are encamped in the singular, like Rashi explains, like one person, as they were one single person. V'yisedim is even more so, b'leiv echad, with one heart. What's the addition to say in addition to one person, it's one heart? Keloimar, this means to say, loirak b'chitzoyni is not only externally they were together, elegam b'pnimius, but also internally, mitzad alavav shel kol Yisrael, from the perspective of the hearts of all the Jewish people, limikatnam vad gedolam, from the youngest to the greatest, or the most minor to the most major. Shenasu kulam leiv echad v'yochid, they all became one singular heart. Hamuchel lekablos haTorah meis Hashem, that are ready to receive the Torah from Hashem, v'limsrois lebneim b'nei bnei matzav kol hadoros, and to transmit it to their children and to their grandchildren to the end of all generations. V'gam inyan zeh kosher in malosin shel neshei Yisrael. Also, this idea of the unity is connected with the quality of Jewish women. Because only through the unity did Hashem agree to give the Torah, that when Hashem agreed to give the Torah, he first told about it to the women and then to the men. And then the Rebbe is going to add even more so. The last paragraph on this page, Zayin, according to what we just now said, that the giving of the Torah has a special connection with unity. We can add an explanation in the prefacing women to men. The reason for the fact she'inyan ha'achdus hevi bepoil as ha'achlota al nesinas ha'toirahu, that the idea of the unity brought about in actuality that Hashem gave and decided to give the Torah to the Jewish people. Because the idea of unity is the inner point of the giving of the Torah. Meaning, the many details of the life of every single Jew is permeated with one matter, Torah. Not only that, all, not just all the details of a Jew, but all the multiple and very great amount of details in the entire creation are permeated with one idea, Torah, Kanal Baruch, the idea of Torah, like we spoke about previously at length. This aspect is expressed in the women's role in running the home. So the home should run appropriately. There has to be unity amongst all the members of the household, like one person with one heart. Or more specifically, every single one of the household has their specific mission and job. The head of the household, his job is to make sure that there is income, and to teach the family Torah, the household Torah, and to note the very aspect of Torah study is anyway to be found by women. Especially matters that are connected with the kosher status of the home, and the light of the home, the candles of Shabbos and Yom Tov, the cleanliness and purity of the home, family purity. These are core things that were given over to the one who is the mainstay of the home. These are the three pillars upon which a Jewish home stands on: kosher and Shabbos Chodesh and family purity. Through their home, the entire world. So therefore, why do we say it's the head of the household, the husband's job about Torah? Hakavon for the intention over here is shtafkidish shalabal. The job of the husband is lahoisiv ba'amkas haTorah to add in the depth of the Torah. That is the job of the husband. So too, the children, Habanim v'Abanis, the sons and daughters, Memal mistafkidim shalahem, they fulfill their job, ba'oifnam yuchad lahem, in the job that in the manner that's specific to them. That children are known b'tmimis for their earnestness, b'chayis, their passion, b'spilus, and their excitement. So they bring all of that to the household. Therefore, though the husband fulfills his job and his purpose in his matters, and the woman and the wife in her matters, in Yonim Shoinim that seemingly are different and distinct, specifically through the differences between them, each one complements and completes the other. So to the children and their job, that they complement their parents through causing their parents nachas. And all of this, like two meanings in the word hashlama. Aleph, hashlamas hachasar, completing that which is lacking. Beis melashon shleimus, from the word perfection. Shleimus b'mili ashlichus shalakeres habayis, perfection and fulfilling the mission of being the mainstay of the home. Or b'mili ashlichus shalabal habayis, fulfilling the mission of the head of the household. V'adu shleimus tam Yisrael kula, until the perfection of the entire Klal Yisrael. So he says, Zoy, one second. Ches. V'hinei, pulos achtes abayis haprotia der kers abayis mashpia gam b'negel lepula ba'olam. The effect of the unity in the home through the mainstay of the home, meaning the woman, influences also concerning the effect on the world. Kasher yotzim la'olam va'oiskim binyan ha'olam, when we go out into the world and we're involved in worldly matters. Azayin nifgashim b'ashpoyas shoynis b'anoshim shoynim. Then we meet up with different influences and different people. V'imkein misareres hatmiyah. Therefore, the question arises: Keitzad efshel lamid b'chol ha'nisyonis? How can we withstand all the challenges? U'leishor b'matzav shalachtas ki yishach b'lev echad, to remain in a state of oneness, like one person with one heart. And the response for this, like we said before, when the atmosphere in the home, and how much more so the activities in the home, are permeated in love of another Jew and the unity of Jews, and this is atmosphere is felt in the home for always, gam that we're even breathing in this atmosphere during sleep. Therefore, immediately when one arises from sleep, and he thinks into what's going on around him. He sees and senses immediately oneness of the Jewish people. Then, even when we go outside, and outside there's a storm wind blowing, so we meet up with a world that it senses, that it's seemingly sensing the idea of exile. We are not influenced by this at all. Because the going outside is out of a Jewish home that's permeated with love of another Jew and unity of Jews. All of this is dependent primarily in the mainstay of the home. The woman, though the way she acts and runs the home is corresponding and appropriate to directives that her husband brings from yeshiva and the koil and so on, the actual accomplishment of it in the home is through her. She is the true head of household. She affects the atmosphere of unity in the home through that in the entire world, like we mentioned before. In such a manner, she educates her daughter, even the smallest one that just was born. When the time comes, she will also be able to fulfill the holy mission to build a home. She should be permeated with the love of Yidden. You should love your fellow like yourself. And the unity amongst Yidden. Through breathing into her, the child breathed into herself the atmosphere of unity. Because breathing of air is something necessary in every moment. Therefore, when the home is permeated with the atmosphere of unity, she will breathe every moment the atmosphere and the unity air that's in the home. Therefore, when she goes outside of the home, and afterwards she will go and establish her own home. She will bring into her home the atmosphere and air of the loving of another Jew, until both homes will become one home, like one home, like one person with one heart. We'll stop over here.